This is the sound of a new superpower being born, not with armies or with treaties, but with sand. China is building man-made islands in the heart of the South China Sea, placing a chokehold on one of the world's most critical trade routes.
People see sand. I see the most ambitious engineering project in modern history. The scale is almost unimaginable.
This is the untold story of the trillion-dollar megaproject that's changing the world. How do you turn a reef that disappears at high tide into a fortress? And why is the world powerless to stop it? It all started here. For decades, China maintained a token presence on these contested reefs. But in the early 2000s, a secret, audacious plan was activated. The objective: permanent, unsinkable aircraft carriers. The chosen location: the Spratly Islands, a strategic crossroads claimed by half a dozen nations.
The first problem isn't political, it's geological. You're building on loose coral, not bedrock. Everything wants to wash away.
The solution arrived by sea, a fleet of colossal dredging ships, some the size of football fields. The world's largest and most advanced dredging fleet, built by China for this exact purpose. This is the heart of the operation, a cutter suction dredger. It's essentially a floating blender with a vacuum cleaner. Its job: to tear apart the seabed and suck it up. Tens of thousands of tons of material per hour.
They aren't just digging, they are moving mountains from the bottom of the sea to the surface.
This material is then pumped, sometimes for miles, to its destination. The birth of new land. Violent, messy, and incredibly fast. Hour by hour, the reef disappears and an island is born. This new land is completely unstable. It's just a waterlogged pile of sand. The next storm could wash it all away. So before anything else, they build a shield, a perimeter wall to protect their multi-billion-dollar investment.
These caissons are hollow. They place them, then fill them with sand, sinking them to form an interlocking, solid wall.
Precision is critical, the foundation of the entire island's defense. Kilometer by kilometer, the fragile sand pile is encased in concrete.
Now, you have to squeeze the water out. Compaction turns that loose slurry into ground stable enough to build on.
Constant testing ensures the ground can support what's coming next. With the land secure, the second wave begins, the largest construction project on Earth. The first priority: a 3,000-meter runway, long enough for any aircraft in China's arsenal.
A runway isn't just pavement. It's a layer cake of materials designed to handle the impact of a 200-ton aircraft landing at 150 miles per hour.
They even use the dredged sand to make their own concrete, minimizing reliance on outside supply lines. A non-stop, 24/7 operation.
This is modern engineering at its finest. No joints, no weak points. Just a perfect slab of reinforced concrete.
Hundreds of workers toiling in the tropical heat, turning a sandbar into a strategic asset. In a matter of months, the impossible is achieved.
The tolerances are insane. The entire 3-kilometer runway is perfectly flat, with a deviation of less than a centimeter.
Now, it's not just an island, it's an airfield. But an airfield is vulnerable. The planes need protection.
These are hardened aircraft shelters, designed to withstand a direct missile strike.
Each hangar is a fortress within the fortress, layer upon layer of protection.
Once that door closes, the aircraft inside is safe from almost anything.
Enough shelters to house a full squadron of fighter jets. The island needs a brain, a command and control center. But a brain is useless if it's blind. To control this airspace, the island needed eyes and ears capable of piercing the horizon.
That golf ball is a radome. It protects a sophisticated radar system from the elements while allowing the signals to pass through.
Once operational, this single dome provides an uninterrupted, sweeping view of every ship and aircraft moving within a massive 400-mile radius. And they didn't stop there. They installed specialized high-frequency arrays, bending signals to effectively see over the curve of the Earth itself.
All that data is useless without the infrastructure to process and disseminate it. Fiber optic cables connect every system on the island.
Beneath the surface lies a state-of-the-art, climate-controlled data center, buried deep enough to survive a direct assault. With the flick of a switch, The massive amounts of raw data begin to flow. The island is finally waking up. But simply watching the enemy isn't enough to secure a territory. This island fortress also needed teeth.
They are installing a vertical launch system, the same type used on advanced naval destroyers.
Buried in these hidden silos lies a lethal arsenal. Missiles designed to knock enemy jets out of the sky or cripple warships hundreds of miles before they ever see the island. To the untrained eye, it looks like a simple patch of concrete. In reality, it's an invisible arsenal, armed and ready to fire at a moment's notice.
An airfield is one thing, but to be a true strategic hub, you need a deep water port.
They needed a harbor deep enough and strong enough to accommodate the heaviest vessels in the Chinese fleet, far beyond just supply barges. We're talking about a facility designed specifically to dock destroyers, heavy frigates, and eventually full-sized aircraft carriers.
You've now connected your sea power and your air power in one location. That's the strategic goal.
Yet, an outpost this remote can't survive on weapons alone. To maintain a permanent garrison, the island had to become entirely self-sufficient. They built the infrastructure for a small city, housing, vast recreation facilities, and even high-yield, climate-controlled farms.
Fresh water is the most critical resource. This plant can produce hundreds of tons of drinking water per day.
To run it all, massive fields of solar arrays were installed to harvest the intense tropical sun, drastically reducing their reliance on vulnerable fuel shipments. By combining solar, heavy wind turbines, and backup diesel reserves, they created a highly resilient hybrid grid to ensure the command center never goes dark. Even simple additions, like a freshly painted basketball court, are critical. These small touches of normal life are essential for the morale of troops stationed in such extreme isolation. This was the tipping point. The sprawling project had transformed from a chaotic construction site into a highly organized, functioning military town.
Every element is meticulously planned, like a city grid. This is a parking apron for transport aircraft.
The tarmac was meticulously divided. They mapped out highly specific zones for different aircraft to guarantee maximum logistical efficiency during a scramble.
They've built a hydrant refueling system directly into the airfield. A plane can be refueled in minutes without needing a truck.
Hidden directly beneath the runway lies a massive network of underground fuel depots, capable of holding millions of gallons of highly volatile jet fuel. However, in the middle of the ocean, the greatest enemy is often the weather. Controlling the massive deluge of tropical water is a constant, desperate battle.
A typhoon can dump a foot of rain in a few hours. Without a massive drainage system, this entire airfield would flood and become useless.
To coordinate this complex ballet of air traffic, they erected a towering nerve center, highly visible against the flat landscape. From the fortified safety of this tower, specialized technicians would soon guide in the heavy military traffic.
This gives them direct, line-of-sight communication with approaching aircraft.
Meanwhile, construction rapidly finished on the massive barracks complexes, vast concrete structures designed to house the hundreds and soon thousands of incoming personnel. The interiors are stark, functional, and highly Spartan. The logistics of feeding this garrison required outfitting industrial-scale kitchens capable of producing thousands of meals a day without fail. They even established a comprehensive medical wing, fully equipped to handle everything from routine illnesses to severe combat trauma on site.
It's an iterative process. You get the critical infrastructure running, then you build out from there.
With the runway cured, the rigorous testing phase finally began. They started cautiously, launching sophisticated unmanned systems to probe the airspace. These drones flew relentless patterns over the island, systematically calibrating the newly installed radar grids and establishing secure communication links. Once the systems were proven, the real milestone arrived, the first manned flight. It wasn't a sleek fighter, but a heavy, dependable military workhorse. As the ramp lowered and the first official garrison marched onto the tarmac, history was made. A massive permanent air bridge to this artificial island was now wide open.
This changes everything. They are no longer dependent on slow sea transport for critical supplies and personnel.
With the interior secure, military engineers immediately shifted their intense focus outward, fortifying the fragile perimeter of the island. They installed an incredibly dense integrated surveillance network, feeding a flawless 360-degree view back to the command center.
They are installing close-in weapon systems, or CIWS.
This is the absolute last line of defense. A terrifying, radar-guided automated cannon capable of shredding targets with 4,500 rounds every single minute. These weapons are specifically designed to obliterate low-flying, sea-skimming anti-ship missiles or swarm attacks from fast-moving boats before they reach the concrete wall.
It's a layered defense. Long-range missiles, medium-range guns, and short-range cannons. They've thought of everything.
Then, the true muscle of the Chinese military arrived. A heavy naval frigate glided into the newly minted harbor. As the sailors tied off the heavy mooring lines, the deep-water pier, once just a flat slab of concrete on a sandbank.
Now they can resupply and rearm their warships right here in the middle of the sea, extending their range and patrol times indefinitely.
It was a flawless, terrifyingly efficient display of modern logistics, a seamless integration of land, sea, and air power operating as a single unit.
In the final stages, massive landscaping efforts were launched. It was a deliberate attempt to soften the harsh concrete.
They're turning a military base into a small town. This is about permanency.
As the soldiers saluted, the flag raising became more than a ceremony. It was a highly calculated, symbolic act of absolute sovereignty. From the neatly painted sports fields to the streetlights, the undeniable signs of a permanent, unyielding long-term deployment are etched into every corner of the island. To ensure they were never cut off, a sprawling farm of satellite dishes was erected, guaranteeing an unbreakable high-bandwidth lifeline back to the mainland. In less than 2 frantic years, China had pulled off the impossible. They literally manufactured a permanent, heavily armed strategic reality. Consider Fiery Cross Reef. What was once a tiny, jagged rock barely breaking the waves is now the sprawling crown jewel of these island fortresses.
This triangle gives them overlapping fields of fire and sensor coverage for the entire Spratly Island chain.
With these 3 points connected, the trap is sprung. Almost nothing can move through this critical sector of the South China Sea without Beijing tracking its exact position. Then, the apex predators finally arrived to claim their new territory. This is the stark new reality of the region. The Chinese Coast Guard and Navy now aggressively patrol and dominate these waters, enforcing their claims with steel.
They didn't just build an island. They built a platform for power projection.
From the concrete runways of these islands, China now possesses the terrifying ability to project overwhelming military power across the entirety of the Southeast Asian region.
Before, their fleet had limited range. Now, with this chain of supply bases, their reach is global.
This was just an idea on paper, and we broke down exactly how they brought it to life with concrete and steel.
If you want to see the engineering behind more of the world's most impossible mega projects, hit that subscribe button.